Let's talk about Riot Games, my favorite company, releasing early update on how the next patch is gonna look like. Hopefully they don't screw up something. Let's take a look. Patch 25.6 preview. Losing team bounties. Bounties appearing on the losing team has been a problem with incrementally tapping down for a while. This patch we're able to rewrite some of that code to better account for early bounties on the losing team in particular. This should reduce a significant amount of early cases, if not completely eliminate them. Well, good. Let's hope it does something. Glad Riot is still actively trying to, I guess, try to make bounties better, because, well, we all know how bad they are. I mean, this is a win. Okay. Anti-lane swap. After the micro patch, anti-lane swap are triggered in less than 1% in regular games. On first stand so far, we're seeing standard lanes pre-grab swap, which is good. While the changes have been effective in achieving the goals, we still intend to find a better long-term solution. Okay. Autocannon Noxus map. On 20.5, we made some adjustments to the Noxus map to bring some of that green, and you may have noticed some mysterious foliage popping up back up. We also adjusted Autocannon to show up more in pro games, especially. So far, we had 4 Ruinous and 1 Voracious, so it seems to be working well so far. That's great, but still unsure. I'm still very unsure if Riot should be using a different formula for Autocannon in Pro versus solo queue. Items. Changes to Seldras to make it better against tanky targets. Changes to Warmogs after it was nerfed a bit too heavily after the support poaching. We're making Warmogs more effective for income tanks in particular. So this is like Mundo, I guess. Nefiri has been quite bad for a while, often being quite binary with her combat patterns. In retrospect, a simple assassins were not the right shape for her, and so we're giving her significantly more depth on a more normal kit for an assassin. We're adding more outplay potentially, which will give her more options in combat. Yeah, I've seen Nefiri already. I don't know if the video got posted to YouTube, but I did a reaction on her. I think like the champion will obviously still have issues, but I still think long term what they're doing is good for Nefiri. Darius Jungle has become a lot more popular, but also has been secretly very powerful. We're tapping him down. Okay. So we're gonna see the detailed changes tomorrow. Let's take a look. So, the problem I have with the patch, when I saw this in the morning, is that I felt like... the first thing I did was, I looked at all League of Legends champions in general, and I genuinely asked myself which champions needed a buff. Like, I was considering that they were either very weak for a long time, or that they're just like, it's good to buff them because they're good for the game. Like, I didn't consider like buffing some sort of a champion when I think they're just unhealthy to be in the meta in the first place or whatever. And I come to realize that I genuinely think like a lot of champions are in a pretty good state, and I don't think a lot of champions need buffs. So the first thing that I thought about was that I kind of felt like more champions should be nerfed than buffed. So, and I also felt like reading this, a lot of champions were either getting nerfed that didn't need to, or getting buffed that didn't need to. Like, for example, Jarvan. I don't really see a reason why Jarvan would need a buff. He's just fine. Like, he's not overpowered, he's not too weak, he's just fine. But maybe they're buffing to change up the game. Sure, I kind of get that, I guess. So, Jarvan buff, I think the champion, it's like, depends what they buff, right? If it's too big of a buff, he's gonna jump into meta instantly. Jhin, okay, sure. I can see Jhin being a little bit worse than he used to be, and maybe they want to shake up there a little bit. Kai'Sa, I totally see that too. They probably want to add Kai'Sa a little bit to the pool, because right now, like, Crit ADCs are kind of outshining everything. And you have, like, Ezreal, Corki, and whatever there, maybe Kalista. Lilia also was a little bit nerfed. I remember they nerfed her a while ago, and then she became a lot worse, so I kind of understand it. Lucian, been weak for a while. Lucian's a really, like, nightmare balancing. They also made him more of a bot laner than mid laner, so yeah. Poppy, so this is another champion that I don't understand why it's getting buffed. Like, I don't get it. So last patch, Riot nerfed Poppy, gave her better scaling, they gave her HP growth per level, and they made passive shield be linear. I checked win rates, Poppy top is doing really fantastic, Poppy support is doing probably a little bit weaker than before, which is what they intended. So why are we buffing Poppy? Because like I can guarantee you this champion is probably kind of overtuned in a way and does not need to be buffed. I have no idea. So Twisted Fate. Now this champion obviously has been weak for a while, right? Like the only thing he does is he's a stun card bot. He has no other gameplay because he does no damage. So obviously they need to buff damage on this champion. They're probably like, I hope it's APT buff because, well, ADTF is like, you know, like when ADTF was meta, it kind of became unhealthy. Like I like Trinity Force TF. I don't like Kraken on hit TF because that shit is so unskilled. He just cards you and then just auto-attacks you to death. So like a while ago, they nerfed APTF Q-AP ratio. I think it's probably time to bring that back. Also, I'm skipping champions. I don't know how. So like Kha'Zix being buffed. That's another champion that I think is actually okay to buff. And also like Smolder has like one of the weakest win rates in the game. Like champion is so dog shit in solo queue. Now the reason why they're obviously it's hard for them to buff Smolder is because like the moment they buff it, it becomes a pro problem, right? Like Smolder kit is just going to be a constant pro problem. And then Xin Zhao, that's another champion where I don't understand why it's getting buffed. Like, I don't. Jarvan, Xin Zhao, Poppy. Like, this three, in my opinion, feels so out of place to be on this list. Then we go to champion nerfs. So Caitlyn. So this one was really confusing to me. I was like, wait, Caitlyn's getting nerfed? Why? And then I thought to myself, maybe this is a preemptive nerf for professional play. The reason for this is because they remove lane swaps, which will automatically make Caitlyn in professional play better. Now, we don't see Caitlyn yet in first stand or whatever, but I was thinking like, okay, maybe they're just preemptively nerfing her because maybe it's a long-term problem in pro. I don't know. Like, this is the only explanation I came up with. Corki nerf, sure, kind of get that one, right? Like high elo / pro, okay. Darius jungle, we all get that. Highest winner champ in the game. Brownie's banned. He got banned. Okay, wait, let me finish this. So Darius jungle, that's fine. Draven, this is like a frustration nerf for solo queue. He eats ban rate really high, especially in EU West, and it's like a very good Master Plus pick, okay. Ezreal, yeah, sure, get that one, right? Ezreal's been like extremely high priority in high elo and professional play for a long time as well. Champion's been very, like, his kit is just kind of perfect for pro play and everything, coordinated environment. Garen's, they tried to nerf him, then they removed him from the nerf list. They nerfed Axiom Arcanist. They realized, like, we kind of realized that Axiom Arcanist nerf is not good enough for champs like Darius, Garen, and Cho. So now we're nerfing Garen again, finally. It takes them a long time. Like, as far like, Garen has been, this champion is way too good for, like, I just really dislike a champion that has so little gameplay in his kit being so strong. I truly do think that Garen is equivalent to Warwick or Malphite for me. He should never be as strong as he is, like, ever. I just don't believe in that world. I think the game is just simply worse if Garen is as strong as he is. There's just so many other champions in this video game that have way more gameplay than Garen. Like, Garen should just be kept good in low MMR, and he is low MMR skewed, so even if you nerf him for, like, let's say 1% win rate, he's still gonna be good low MMR champion. So, okay, Garen nerf, sure. Jinx, they're nerfing Jinx because she just has a very high win rate across all ranks, pretty much, even though she feels bad to play. Like, I know a lot of people feel really bad playing Jinx because she's so low agency character, yet she still has a high win rate, right? So it's like, Karma. So this one I didn't understand. Why is Karma getting nerfed? Because, like, as far as I understand, she doesn't have a ban problem. Like, she's not banned often, or like she's not like as frustrating as so many other champions. She doesn't have any high win rate or anything like that. It's a bit weird to me that I've seen Karma on the nerf lifts, and then Mastery, this is another jungler that has extremely high win rate, like, across all ranks. So, like, Mastery and Jinx, like, I totally get. So some nerfs I get, right? Some are a bit weird. Like, Caitlyn nerf is really odd to me. And I would say the Karma nerf is a bit odd to me. Champ adjustment. So Gwen, based on what I've seen on PBE, they're basically making changes to Gwen. They're trying to make Gwen players not build full glass cannon, which are like Nasher, Shadowflame, Rabadon, and they're trying to make her more like a bruiser. Those are like the intended changes of Gwen, which I think is a good thing. I don't think Gwen, her primary best build should be just building as much raw AP as possible, and then she just one-shots you in EQ, you know? I also think the Nafir changes are good long-term. The scene changes I didn't really see, honestly, so it's hard for me to say. I'll wait for tomorrow. Warmux, this is a decent item to buff. I do think it's on the weak side. And then, yeah, and then all this. Salja's Grudge, I'm really happy that they're buffing. I assume they're going to give it 5% more armor pen. The problem with Salja's Grudge is that it gives you 30% armor pen, but LDR gives you 40. So in a lot of lethality champions, LDR is strictly better. The problem with LDR is that it gives you crit, and a lot of champions don't like crit, but they want haste. So they have this tough choice between going versus deciding buying Salja's Grudge or LDR. And Salja's Grudge is just a lot worse item than LDR, so I'm hoping they just give it 5% more armor pen, and then it's going to be very competitive. But this is also like buffing an item like that is going to like make a lot of champions happier. Like Israel, for example, is getting a little bit of a buff here, or Zat or something like that, right? That's how the patch is looking like. A lot of some pro play changes, but also a lot of solo queue changes, I guess.